Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a really specific but incredibly important piece of the workplace safety puzzle today.
Yeah, energy-absorbing lanyards.
Exactly. Think about anyone working high up construction, utilities, factories. These are the devices, well, designed to stop a fall safely.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a market research report in front of us, gives us a snapshot of this market's growth and, where it's headed.
Right. And our mission, really, is to get inside this report, pull out the critical insights.
What's really driving
Yeah,
things?
what are the main drivers pushing this market forward? What are the key numbers globally and regionally? And what trends are really shaping this vital part of the safety equipment landscape?
It's kind of seeing how demand for something like this reflects bigger shifts, right? In
Mhm.
safety standards, industrial development.
Absolutely, all around the world.
And let me tell you, the numbers in this report are, well, they're anything but static.
Thank you.
They show some seriously robust growth and some fascinating differences in momentum when you look at different parts of the world.
Okay, so starting at the highest level, the global market for these energy-absorbing lanyards, it's definitely on a strong upward trajectory.
Strong momentum, the report says.
Significant momentum, yeah. And you can really see that in the figures.
Right. So back in 2021, this market pulled in about $1,733.4 million.
Yeah.
That's projected to jump to $2,230 million by 2025.
Wow.
And then, get this, almost double its 2021 size, hitting $3,690.6 million by 2033.
Okay, that's a huge leap over what, 12 years?
Yeah.
That long-term projection gives us a global compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of a pretty healthy 6.5%.
6.5% from 2021 through 2033. That's a steady expansion.
It really is.
So what's powering that consistent climb? The report points to a few key forces.
Well, the primary driver, and this probably isn't a huge surprise, is the continuous strengthening of workplace safety regulations
yeah,
all around the world.
makes sense. Stricter rules, more need for the gear.
Exactly. As standards rise, particularly for fall protection, the demand for compliant equipment like these lanyards just increases.
Okay.
And coupled with that, you've got significant growth in construction and industrial activities globally.
Right. More projects, more factories.
Means more people working at height. Simple as that.
So it's both the rules changing and just the sheer amount of activity increasing.
Precisely. And the report also notes something else, just a heightened general awareness of fall protection systems.
So people are just more clued in.
Yeah, it seems like it. People are simply more educated about the risks involved in working up high and, the necessity of reliable gear.
Okay, so globally, robust growth,
Yeah.
driven by regulations, activity, and awareness. Let's narrow our focus now.
Where's the biggest chunk of the market right now?
North America. That's where it's currently the largest and most established.
Right.
North America held the top spot back in 2021, pulling in $696.8 million.
Almost 700 million.
Yeah. That's forecast to grow to $878.6 million in 2025 and projected to reach $1,395.1 million by 2033.
Okay, nearly 1.4 billion by 2033 just in North America and within that region.
The U.S. is clearly the dominant player. No surprise there, really.
What are the numbers for the U.S.?
Its market size was $492 million in 2021. That rises to $611.5 million in 2025 and expected to hit $941.7 million by 2033.
Okay, so getting close to $1 billion just in the States.
Yep, and that represents a steady CAGR of 5.5% for the U.S. market. Solid, but maybe not explosive.
Right. And Canada.
Canada's the next largest contributor. Started at $150.5 million in 2021, moving to $194.2 million in 2025, and projected to reach $320.9 million by 2033.
Exactly. While its absolute numbers are smaller, you're looking at $54.4 million in 2021, $72.9 million in 2025, $132.5 million by 2033.
Still significant growth, but yes, smaller base.
But its projected CAGR is 7.8%.
Wow, that is notably higher than both the U.S. and Canada.
Right. This surge likely reflects, increasing industrialization, maybe newer or more strictly enforced safety standards compared to previous years, perhaps.
Yeah, that higher growth rate in Mexico really stands out compared to its neighbors, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, moving across the Atlantic, Europe also holds a pretty significant piece of this market.
Oh, absolutely. Europe's regional revenue was $528.7 million in 2021.
Right.
Growing to $671.2 million in 2025.
Yeah.
And projected to reach $1,085 million, just over $1 billion by 2033.
So another billion-dollar region by 2033. And looking at specific countries in Europe, the UK shows a particularly strong trajectory.
Yeah, impressive growth there.
Within this established region, I mean.
Yeah.
Started from $105.2 million in 2021, forecast to hit $138.9 million in 2025, and an impressive $242 million by 2033.
Okay, and that gives it a robust TAGR of 7.2%.
7.2%. That kind of growth suggests what? Strong ongoing investment in infrastructure, maybe, or specific safety initiatives there?
Could be either or both.
Huh.
Germany and France are also major contributors, of course.
Naturally, what are their figures looking like?
Germany's market is projected to grow from $84.1 million in 2021 to...
This audio was created with Podcastle.ai.
projected to grow from $84.1 million in 2021 to $109.4 million by 2025,
Okay.
and reach $185.5 million by 2033.
And France.
France follows a, well, pretty similar path, from $72.4 million in 21 to $92.6 million in 25, and a projected $151.9 million by 2033.
Got it. The report also mentions steady contributions from Italy, Russia, and Spain.
Right, rounding out the bigger players.
Spain's trajectory, in particular, shows pretty significant growth, expected to reach $83.5 million by 2033.
From what, about $49 million in 2021?
Yeah, $49.2 million, so
Yeah.
decent climb there, too.
And then there's the rest of Euro category, right, which bundles a lot of other countries.
Right, and collectively adds substantial volume. Projected at $210 million by 2033 for that group.
Yeah, and even smaller economies within that, like Luxembourg, are expecting notable growth. The report pegs it at $13.6 million by 2033.
Okay, so North America and Europe are the big established markets, but the report really points to another region where the momentum is especially high.
Ah, yes, Asia Pacific.
That's the one.
Absolutely. Asia Pacific is clearly emerging as a major engine of growth for these lanyards.
The numbers are pretty striking. Its market expanded from $356.2 million in 2021
Okay, already substantial.
to $480.6 million projected for 2025, and then an even more impressive leap to $869.1 million by 2033.
Wow, so getting close to North America's 2025 level, but by 2033, that's fast growth.
Yeah, and that kind of acceleration is reflected in the regional CAGR. It's 7.7%.
Which is actually higher than the global average we talked about earlier, the 6.5%.
Exactly.
Now, within Asia Pacific, China dominates. And its growth numbers are, well, they're remarkable.
Okay, lay them on me.
Market revenue surges from $136.8 million in 2021 to $190.8 million in 2025.
Right.
And then a substantial $363.3 million by 2033.
Over 360 million just in China.
And China's registering a TGR of 8.4%.
8.4%.
Yeah. I mean, that indicates massive industrial and construction activity, almost certainly coupled with increasing safety requirements.
Wow, that jump in China is really significant. But, even within that high growth picture for the whole region, India stands out.
How so?
It apparently has the highest projected growth rate in the entire region.
Higher than China's 8.4%.
The report highlights it specifically for the highest rate. It's forecast to grow from $35.6 million in 2021.
Okay, smaller starting point than China.
Much smaller, yeah. But projected to reach $106.9 million by 2033.
So tripling the market size in just over a decade.
Exactly. That's serious acceleration.
Yeah, that really highlights the rapid pace of infrastructure and industrial development going on there.
For sure.
Japan and South Korea also remain very strong, mature contributors in the region.
What are their 2033 projections?
Let's see. Japan projected at $146 million and South Korea at $112.1 million, respectively, by 2033.
Still very solid numbers.
Definitely. And you've also got other significant contributors in Asia Pacific, like Australia,
Okay.
expected to hit $43.5 million by 2033, and Southeast Asia as a group, contributing about $37.4 million by then.
It really is a region where you see that massive scale, like in China, alongside this really rapid emergence, like in India.
It's a dynamic picture for sure.
Okay, let's briefly touch on Latin America and the Middle East and Africa.
Right. These regions also show positive growth trajectories, though starting from smaller bases than the others we've discussed.
So in Latin America, Brazil is the leader?
Yes. Brazil leads with notable growth projected from $42.2 million in 2021 up to $91.3 million in 2033.
Doubling, more than doubling.
Yeah. And other countries like Argentina, $32.5 million projected for 2033. Colombia, $20.9 million. Peru, $13.8 million. And Chile, $24.2 million. all contributing to that regional expansion.
Okay. And the Middle East and Africa?
For MEA, the report notes positive momentum, driven by specific countries. Egypt and Turkey are identified as key players.
Any numbers for them?
Turkey is expected to reach $28.2 million in 2033, and then the rest of the Middle East category adds another $11.3 million by that year.
So again, growth, but reflecting maybe different stages of development or regulation adoption.
Likely, yeah. These regions represent ongoing development, where safety standards are probably still evolving quite a bit.
So, okay, stepping back, we've gone through the numbers, the regions. Looking at the whole picture these figures paint, what's the core message for us?
Well, it really brings us back to those fundamental drivers we mentioned at the start, doesn't it?
The regulations, the building.
Exactly. This market's growth is just intrinsically linked to the global push for industrial safety, the sheer scale of construction and infrastructure projects worldwide,
Yeah.
and the increasing sophistication, and importantly, the mandatory adoption of effective fall protection, like these energy-absorbing lanyards.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is that clear trend of emerging economies
Especially Asia-Pacific, Latin America.
becoming increasingly vital to the overall growth story. I mean, while North America and Europe continue to be these massive markets.
And probably lead in developing the next generation of safety standards or products.
Right, the innovation drivers. But the sheer volume and that accelerating growth in places like China, like India, it means they're quickly becoming indispensable pieces of the global market puzzle.
Absolutely. Which, raises an important question. Why should you, the listener, care about the market for energy-absorbing lanyards?
Yeah, it sounds pretty niche.
It might sound niche, but think about it. Think about the unseen safety measures protecting workers, building the structures you rely on every single day.
The bridges, the high-rises.
Communication towers, factories, all of it. The robust global growth in this specific piece of safety equipment isn't just abstract market data.
It's more than just numbers on a page.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a tangible reflection of an increasing global commitment, hopefully, to worker safety and the implementation of standards that save lives.
Yeah, that's a great point. It shows that as economies grow and build, maybe prioritizing human safety becomes a clearer part of that progress.
We hope so.
So considering that strong link the report highlights between safety regulations and this market's growth, what do these numbers really tell us about the global prioritization of worker safety over the next decade? Are we seeing a genuine sustained shift, or is it maybe still a bit uneven?
That's a key question, isn't it?
Right.
And looking ahead, too, how might ongoing technological advancements in fall protection, maybe integrating smart tech or new materials into these lanyards.
Making them lighter, stronger, smarter.
Right. How might that reshape this market and the demand for different types of equipment even further than these forecasts currently predict?
That's definitely something to keep thinking about. Future deep dive, maybe.
Could be.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for this deep dive.
Okay, let's dive into something really crucial for industrial safety today, even if it's not top of mind daily for everyone. We're talking about the energy-absorbing lanyard market.
Sounds technical, maybe.
A little, yeah. But it's fundamental stuff. Keeping people...
This audio was created with Podcastle.ai.
Sounds technical, maybe.
A little, yeah. But it's fundamental stuff. Keeping people safe in jobs where falls are a real risk.
Absolutely vital.
So we've got some great insights here, pulled from a market dynamics report by Cognitive Market Research. And our plan is basically to unpack what's shaping this market, the drivers, the challenges.
And the trends, where things are heading.
Exactly. Because, look, this isn't just about a piece of equipment. It's about preventing really serious falls.
Yeah.
Saving lives.
On construction sites, utility work, offshore rigs, you name it. That lanyard, the energy-absorbing kind, it's that key link, workers harnessed to the anchor point.
Right.
And if a fall happens, it's designed to basically tear internally, dissipates the force.
Or reduces the shock on the body.
Dramatically, yeah. And the report, it shows this market is seeing some pretty solid growth. A lot of that driven by regulations.
Regulations. That's the big stick here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does the report get specific on how mandates are pushing this?
Oh, absolutely. It mentions things like OSHA rules in the U.S., requiring certified fall protection above certain heights in construction. Those aren't suggestions. They're mandatory.
Non-negotiable.
Right. So gear that meets specific standards, think ANSI Z359 here, or EN355 in Europe, that becomes essential.
Rigorous benchmarks.
Exactly. For utilities, telecoms, high-rise building, all that.
So it's not just a should, it's a must. And beyond rules, the report mentioned global infrastructure projects.
Yes, that's another huge tailwind. Think about all the massive construction happening. Places like India, the UAE, Vietnam, huge infrastructure pushes.
Lots of work at height.
Bridges, tall buildings, scaffolding everywhere. The sheer scale means a massive jump in workers needing reliable fall protection.
Makes sense.
Plus, you're seeing more top companies adopting these zero accident policies, moving past just compliance.
Getting proactive. Does the report show how they're doing that? Like with smarter tech?
Yeah, it points to things like integrating lanyards with wearable sensors for real-time fall detection.
Whoa.
Imagine like a big engineering firm. The report gives an example piloting these on offshore rigs. A fall occurs, bang, instant alert. That's a big leap from just passive gear.
So merging the physical safety gear with connectivity, really pushing the boundaries. But okay, what about the roadblocks? What challenges is this market facing?
Well, a major restraint identified in the report is cost. Certified lanyards, the ones meeting those tough standards we talked about, they can be quite a bit more expensive than, say, uncertified stuff.
I can definitely see that being a barrier, especially for smaller outfits maybe, or in regions with tighter budgets.
Precisely. It's the gear that works, but it costs more.
And that links to another issue.
Yes, another big hurdle the report flags is awareness.
Right.
And proper training. This is apparently quite prevalent in some developing regions, parts of Africa, South Asia, for instance.
So workers might have the gear,
But use it wrong. Or maybe find it uncomfortable and avoid it. Or just not fully grasp the risks. The report mentions rural construction zones as problem spots.
So cost limits access and lack of training limits effectiveness. That's a tough combination.
It is. And then there's the really scary problem, counterfeit products.
Oh, wow. Fake safety gear.
Yeah, gear that looks compliant, but it's made with rubbish materials.
That's terrifying. Something designed to save your life. Failing.
It's a critical hazard. These fakes can lead to severe injury, even death. And the report suggests regulators are struggling to police it effectively, especially with online marketplaces making them easy to get hold of globally.
Okay, so drivers, regulations, global growth, brakes, cost, awareness gaps, and counterfeits. Despite all that, are there exciting things happening, trends?
Yeah, several key trends are popping up. First, there's a real push for lighter, more ergonomic gear.
Makes sense. You wear this stuff all day.
Exactly. Fatigue is a safety issue itself. So the report talks about materials like Dyneema, Kevlar, these high-strength synthetic fibers. They cut weight without compromising protection. Like ultralight harnesses being adopted in Japan, for example, to reduce strain.
Comfort equals compliance, really.
It often does, yeah. If it feels okay, you're more likely to use it right all the time.
And a smart tech.
That's continuing. That trend we touched on. Lanyards paired with IoT devices, sensors, connectivity, instant alerts, moving beyond just pilots now into bigger operations. You see it in oil and gas Texas, the Middle East, where rapid response is just vital.
That shift to connected, intelligent safety is fascinating. Anything else?
And finally, sustainability is starting to creep in as a factor.
Interesting. How so?
Well, with things like green building certifications, LED is a big one gaining ground. Manufacturers are starting to look at recyclable components or maybe lower emission production. It's becoming more visible, especially in European markets, sometimes even required for public projects.
So the market isn't just growing because it has to, legally. It's also getting smarter, more user-friendly, and greener.
That sums it up pretty well, as regulations keep tightening everywhere and companies focus more on safety culture, ESG goals. These lanyards just become more and more central.
It's definitely essential tech, evolving fast, but clearly facing some big hurdles, cost, fakes, training gaps, which kind of leaves you thinking, doesn't it, about that balance? Life-saving tech, the cost of the good stuff, and the huge global differences in training and adoption. It really makes you wonder, how do we make sure this essential safety isn't just available, but truly universally accessible and used correctly wherever you work in the world?
This audio was created with Podcastle.ai.